Good day, everyone. This is your friend Dr. Arle Imperio, and I would like to give a brief discussion about the kidney, the structure of the kidney and function of the kidney. Studying the structure is anatomy. Studying how the structure functions is physiology. So therefore, we'll be studying the anatomy and the physiology of our kidneys. Now, what I would like you to master is the one-page presentation, and we usually give emphasis to this uh, page. And the idea is for us to realize how the body is organized in three levels. The first level of organization is the macroscopic level. This is on how the body is organized as seen by the naked eye. Then the second point of organization is the microscopic level. This is how the body would usually look like with the use of the microscope. And eventually, at the biochemical level or biochemistry, how the body is structured at the molecular level. And if you will now look at the one-page presentation, you can see that at the upper left is the figure of the human body, and the body contains about 12 systems. Each system has many organs like respiratory system, digestive system, muscular system, skeletal system, reproductive system. So each system has many organs, and in each organ are tissues, and in each tissue are trillions of cells. So this is done through the use of the microscope. So this is the, let's say, microscopic level. So when you look at the cell, inside the cell is the nucleus. And when we use the electron microscopy, we look at the nucleus of the cell. We now see the 46 chromosomes that are present inside the nucleus of each cell. So we take out one chromosome which has 4 arms, and in each arm there are many thread-like well-packed organized compartments, which is the genome, or the series of genes, where actually is a series of DNA. So if one DNA strand of 6 feet long may contain about 50 million DNA. So we look at the endpoint with the one-page presentation, and you will now see the DNA with the nucleotides inside, expressed as letters. You now have cytosine, that's C, to guanine, that's one pair. And you have now thymine, that's T, to adenine, that's one pair. So these are actually the nitrogen bases that are present inside the structure of the DNA. Therefore, when the DNA is well structured, organized, and stable, that means a stable chromosome, stable nucleus, stable cell, stable tissue, organ, and a stable and healthy body. So when there is lack of nucleotides, obviously the DNA becomes unstable, and it will affect the chromosome, the nucleus, the cell, the tissue, the cell, and the entire body. That's why we say that the DNA contains the blueprint of our life. The DNA is the command center. The DNA is the commander that will regulate and orchestrate every item and function in the body. Now, when you look at the middle portion of the one-page presentation, you can see now Imorigen. Imorigen is a trade name, Imo for immunity and Regen for regeneration. Immunity is immediate, and regeneration may come as it is continually supported for the rest of our life. So Imorigen contains the ingredients like dietary nucleotides, peptides, oligopeptides, amino acids, and minerals. So these are the components that will support the stability of the DNA. Therefore, that is now the message that our health starts at the DNA level, and our health may end at the DNA level. So going now to our major topic on the kidney, its structure and function. The first is to know where the location of the kidney is. So you look at the diagram, anatomical position, the person is facing you. So you can see that the right kidney is a little lower than the left kidney. And the kidney is connected to the ureter, and the ureter is connected to the urinary bladder. And on the right portion, the enlarged image of the kidney, uh, the uh, the left kidney is shown with the longitudinal section, and you can see the inner parts of the kidney where filtration will take place. And then you can now see the right kidney that is fully covered, and you can now see the adrenal gland on top of the kidney. And then you can now see the large blood vessels. The red blood vessel is the abdominal aorta, the descending aorta which receive blood, fresh blood from the heart, and it will enter the kidney through the renal arteries. It's in red. So the blood enters the kidney, and the kidney filters the blood, and then the clean blood is again brought back to the body through the, let's say, renal veins, and it will proceed going to the heart through the inferior vena cava. So the most important thing to know is to realize what is the basic function of the kidney. The answer is the kidney serves as the filter to clean the blood of our body. So you can now see the longitudinal section of the kidney. You can see that the blood, waste, and water enter the kidney through the renal artery. So when it goes into the kidney, there are parts in the kidney that will do the filtration, and the blood without the waste or excess water leave the kidney and enters again to the body through the renal vein, the one in color blue. And then the excess water and toxic waste in the form of urine leaves the kidney and enters the ureter. And we will show in a little while that the ureter is connected to the urinary bladder. So there we have it. You can now see that the kidneys are at the back portion of our back, just behind our rib cage. So you now have the right and left kidney, and you can now see the ureter that is connected to the urinary bladder, and from the urinary bladder we have the urethra that will be the area where urine will flow out of the body. And then you now have the longitudinal section of the right kidney. So you now have the capsule, which is the covering. You now have the renal pyramids and the renal cortex, and where the filtration will be taking place. And then the waste products will proceed to the calyx, and then from the calyx to the ureter. Okay, so we are now discussing the kidney, but what I would like you to appreciate, the same structure of the body to any organ is practically the same. So you have 12 systems in the body, and then each system has several organs, and each organ has tissue and cell. And from the cell inwards to the nucleus, everything is the same. The nucleus has the chromosome has the DNA, and the DNA has the nitrogen bases, commonly referred to as the nucleotides. The cytosine, excuse me, the cytosine, guanine, and, and the thymine, adenine. So therefore, you can now see the location of the different organs of the body in the diagram. And today we're focusing on the kidney. Okay, I would like to show you the basic idea of how dialysis is done. You can now see from the diagram that blood from the patient enters into the dialyzer, where filtration will occur, and through filtration, the used dialysate with waste is flowed to a tube, and then fresh dialysate is introduced to complement to serve as leading the clean blood into the body of the patient. So therefore, the dialyzer serves as the function of the kidney. And what I would like you now to see in this diagram on how blood pressure is controlled, and kidney as an organ is one of the contributing organs. But there are many organs. You have the kidney, the liver, the lungs, and the adrenal gland, and the heart, and the arteries. Now, the kidney would release a hormone, renin, and acts on angiotensinogen of the liver, and then angiotensin 1 through the lungs is converted to angiotensin 2, and then in the lungs we have the angiotensin converting enzyme, or ACE. And then the angiotensin 2 will stimulate the adrenals to release aldosterone, which will affect the kidney and the heart. And in the arteries, it can lead to constriction, and therefore there will be increased blood pressure. And in the kidney, there will be sodium and water retention. So there will be increase in water volume, and that will lead to the increase of blood pressure. So these are the major organs that can affect the blood pressure of the body. And then here is now a diagram of epigenetic modification, but I would just like you to take note at the lower portion of epigenetic modifications, where it happens in the nucleus, and then through transcription, right, it can lead to the improvement of genetic expression through epigenetic modifications. Now, I would like to answer the question of urinary tract infection in the kidney. So we can see the urinary bladder, and if there is too much urine, the urine can go up through the ureter into reaching the kidney, and this can lead to urinary tract infection and eventually even affect the kidney. So there can be a connection. Okay, this is the same diagram on how, let's say, blood pressure through water, volume, and salt retention can be regulated. So it's actually the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system. And we mentioned that the organs involved are the kidney, the liver, the lungs, and the adrenal gland. So homeostasis is one important feature of the body. And homeostasis means that we maintain and regulate body balance. Homeostasis is the ability of the body to build, maintain, and repair itself. And to illustrate the principle of homeostasis, we now have shown in this diagram how homeostasis is done in controlling the temperature of the body. So for example, the body temperature falls down. What will happen is that the blood vessels will constrict so that heat is conserved. And then the sweat glands do not secrete fluid, and shivering or involuntary contraction of the muscles will happen to generate heat, which warms the body. And heat is retained, and therefore normal body temperature can be maintained. Conversely, or on the other hand, when the body temperature rises, let's say in high-grade fever, the blood vessels will dilate, resulting in heat loss to the environment. The sweat glands secrete fluid, and as the fluid evaporates, heat is lost from the body, and therefore heat is lost to the environment, and the normal body temperature can be attained. So this is what you call homeostasis, where internal balance is maintained. In this instance, it showed how body temperature is regulated. So we now see here how dialysis is done. We mentioned a while ago the basic idea of why we do dialysis. And you can see on the left side is the patient, and you will notice a cannula or a tube has been connected through his blood vessels, and then the blood flows to the machine to be filtered and then flows back to the arm of the patient. So his blood would be now more clean. So this is how dialysis is done. And this is usually connected with the kidney because the kidney is the one that should be doing the filtration. If it fails, then the dialysis machine is the one that takes over. Therefore, in closing, my dear friends, I would like to give guidelines on how to have a more healthy kidney. The basic idea here is advanced checkup. So we monitor our blood pressure because there might be some challenges. We monitor our cholesterol because it can lead to clogging of the arteries. And we monitor our blood glucose because these three things, they as an interplay, can contribute to specific health challenges. And then, of course, we control our weight. The goal is to achieve our ideal body weight. Get in touch with your doctor and your dietitian or nutritionist. And obviously, avoid smoking because the cigarette smoke contains many toxic substances. When it comes to carcinogens, there are about 6,000 carcinogens and more, a lot of toxic, and this obviously will give a lot of work to the kidney. And as you and I get older, the kidney also gets older. But if you don't stop introducing a lot of toxic substances through smoke or smoking, then it will lead to certain health challenges. Then the next is to have a healthy diet because what we eat becomes our body. So be sure that we have more fruits and vegetables and ideally have a vegetarian diet. And if you're taking painkillers, over-the-counter painkillers or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, be sure you take them at the minimum. Don't overuse them because they obviously give a lot of work to the kidney. And then exercise regularly because when you exercise, circulation is improved. And then if you have the history of diabetes, heart disease, or chronic kidney disease, be sure you consult your doctor and take action in advance. This is your friend, Dr. Arle Macasiano Imperio, always reminding everyone that having a healthy lifestyle, advanced checkup, and the proper use of functional foods like complex dietary nucleotides, amino acids, peptides, and oligopeptides can be our best formula to better health. And this is your friend, Dr. Arle Macasiano Imperio, reminding everyone that God is the only source of our total supply. He is the one who gave us life. How we take good care of our life is how we say thank you to Him. Mabuhay and more to health and prosperity until our next broadcast.